Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 360 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing TKOG. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And today I'm actually showing you guys some homebrew goo. It's actually like a Frankenstein monster that I made. So I decided to start experimenting again with INFERNOIDs. And I had this list a while back, like it was in 2019 that I was playing this list. It's this insane going second INFERNOID list that broke like the pendulum boards at that time, which were dang near unbreakable. You could draw like super poly and super poly for 3 and still lose to pendulums. Like you'd spear molt them and still lose. Like the INFERNOID list I had just like destroyed everything going second. And now I have an even crazier list. I built it, I tested it, and then I was like, I really want to take it to locals and see, you know, like how it actually performs. And honestly, this deck, there's something on my sleeve. This deck really surprised me with how good it would be. I thought I would, you know, brick a bit more, but honestly, bro, like, I went undefeated today. I got first place with this deck. Well, actually, me and Ed, I don't know if you guys know Edception. Shoutouts to Ed. He actually goes to my locals. But me and him both went undefeated, and for some reason, I got second and he got first. But we both went undefeated. So, I don't know. I guess it was just, like, the people we played. Maybe somebody I beat left or something. But, so the list I have for you guys today is a going second INFERNOID Invoke Dogmatica deck. And I play a shit-all package in it. And the reason being because a year ago, I couldn't do this because I didn't have the cards in real life, but a year ago, I came up with the combo with Void Imagination and had always wanted to do it, but I didn't have the INFERNOID cards. At the time, I didn't have the Dogmatica cards, but I had the shit-alls because I got the structure deck. So there's a really crazy combo that actually inspired me to make this list. I'll actually get deeper into that. But today I played against PK Fire. I played against Tri-Brigades with the Melfi engine, which is actually my friend. I played against Salamangre. I guess like Mirage Dalu coming back made people really want to start playing Salamangres. And then the Evil Twin hype is also pretty like big over there. Like a lot of people want to play the Evil Twins because they're new sport. I played Evil Twin Eldritch, which was a pretty interesting variant. I think I've seen it before, but yeah, those are my 4 matchups. Salamangreats actually just like mopped them, not like in a disrespectful way, but yeah, like I mopped Salamangreats, and then I also side decked for going first. So like, you know, obviously there's the mind games where like people make me go first because they see I'm playing a going second deck. They see obviously it's powerful, and I opened Void Feast with I normal Decatron to dump my Mommy, which is basically, I call Deviati Mommy. To monster negate, resolve Void Feast, got 3 negates plus a DD Crow, and I had summon limit against Salamangreats going first. It was insane. So mopped him. I mopped Evil Twin so bad that after game 1, he just gave up and said, you got it. But he didn't leave the tournament. He still kept playing after that. But he scooped after game 1. I just destroyed him. Like, he opened up both his engines. He opened Curse plus the 1-card starter. He had a Droplets as well. I broke his whole board, banished his Wakero before he could get a chance to get it on in phase, and then set my board up. I broke his board. I ended on I think INFERNOID a Nunku with Ecclesia, Fleur de Lis in hand, Macabre, and also Shit-all Schism. I mean, honestly, and when I resolve Void Imagination, I get every piece of that board minus the Invoke monster. So every time like I break the board with Imagination, I make my own. So I ended on that. He tried to use Golden Lord to discard for my Macabre. I banished it with my INFERNOID, and he just scooped. And then I played my homeboy who's actually running Tri-Brigade Melfi. We actually got to game 3. And we had like a really good back and forth game 3. I ended up just getting it just by a hair. It wasn't like one side or anything. And then game 4, which was the final round, I played against PK Fire. He was ending on Dragoon with Utopic Future, Fog Blades, and he also had Breaksword Engrave with a Fog Blade. So he would like use the Fog Blade to summon a Breaksword, trigger Rusty to pop. So he ended on 4 disruptions. I broke his whole board, and then I ended on a Nunku, Dogmatica Punishment, Schism, Fleur de Lis in hand with a Ecclesia. Yeah, so Schism, a Nunku, Fleur de Lis with Ecclesia on field, Fleur de Lis in hand, and I forgot the rest. It was insane. Like, I ended on so much Interrupt. I think I even drew Punishment and didn't even use it, so I just ended up setting it. But yeah, I broke his board. I Dark Rulered him, and then I dark rulered him. I meltdowned, and it was just like, bro, I just clapped him. I clapped him really bad. I normaled the Alistair after I did. So yeah, I did open my invoke cards. I invoked like a lot today. I normaled the Alistair after I used Elder to pop the Fog Blade that I was public knowledge, and I used Meltdown's protection to make sure that he couldn't respond, so he couldn't even Fog Blade my Infernoid Tiara. I used her to send. I'll just tell you guys the combo. I'm really excited, as you guys can see. I used Infernoid Tiara, and I sent Op Cologne. I sent Elder, and I sent Titiniclad, and I used the Elder to pop the Fog Blade because I dark ruled him. So that was like the last thing I was worried about. So I popped the Fog Blade. I went off with my combo. I resolved Void Imagination and Shadow Fusion. Had 6 Infernoids engraved. Summoned an Unku, destroyed. I summoned Construct first. Used her to dump Schism, and then because I took Alistair and my Tiara, linked them into Verde, and then I Shadow Fusion because I had to Shadow Fusion first before I Unku, otherwise I can't fuse from deck. Summon Construct. I sent Dragon, popped his other back row. It was I think a Shade Brigandine or something like that. I popped his other back row, dumped Schism, then I summoned a Nunku, blew up my Construct and my Verde, because you can summon the Infernoids when the levels of your effect monsters is 8 or lower. So Construct's a level 8, so that's the exact cap. Summoned a Nunku, destroyed that, added Schism back. Ended up summoning out, obviously, Makaba. I got my Schism. So I ended on a Nunku, Makaba, Schism, and Fleur-de-Lis with the Ecclesia. Like, I consistently end on that all the time. I get all of that minus the Alistair part just from Void Imagination by itself. It's just insane, you guys. It's really, really broken. So game 1, I broke his whole board. Game 2, he made the same exact board. I broke it again. And I ended on more interruptions because this time I had a punishment and I had Torrential Tribute because I thought he was going to make me go first, so I sided in TT, and it was just insane. It was so insane. Like, this deck is crazy, you guys, and this is homebrew goo. So, like, the inspiration from me making my list was actually just, I wanted to see how much I could do in Imagination, and it turned out to be crazy. I really liked my deck. Like, I was just there, and everybody was just, like, complimenting it and just, you know, like, pretty much, like, was just hyping it up. So let's go ahead and get into the list. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It obviously keeps content creators motivated. And if you want to support me in any way, shape, or form, you can A, buy my merchandise, B, you can donate to me or become a member of my Patreon. There are different tiers. I give back to those who give to me, or you could even just join my Discord. Any of those would be appreciated, but without all of that out the way, let's get into the list. So yeah, I had to do the tournament report because, you know, I just wanted to tell you guys how it went. If you just want the list and go, then just fast forward. I'm not trying to make anybody mad. So one of the most powerful cards in this deck is Meltdown. I'm going starters first. So Meltdown protects your Shadow Fusion. It protects your Void Imagination because Imagination includes a card. In its text, it includes an effective fusion summon. So Meltdown protects your Imagination from being negated and also protects your Tiara from anything that disrupts her. You can't Veiler, Fog Blade, nothing. Like, when Imagination resolves with Meltdown up, there's nothing that you can do except responding to the cards she sends to the grave, and you can chain block, putting Elder Entity as the highest so that Op Cologne will get Shadow Fusion as Chain Link 1. So it's pretty nasty. It's a very, very gross combo, and it's just insane. Like, it's very, very powerful. And then 3 Nadirs. So like these, even though like I go second and I make everybody go first, if they make me go first, like I have so many starters that I can draw that are still good going first. Like, my deck is very multi-purpose. Like, going first, I can end on Makaba with Ecclesia and a punishment with Schism access, and on top of that, literally resolve Void Feast off of the Void Vanishment on my opponent's draw phase. So like, the best board you can make going first is your Schism set, your punishment with your Ecclesia with the Makaba, and then you summon out your 2 Decatrons and your Jet, and you get your monster negate, your spell trap negate. And you literally, whenever you want to, you just negate one of them, or you summon Winda in the extra monster zone so you could gravity control her. So you still have your 6th zone in the extra monster zone to summon the Winda off the Schism, but it's literally overkill. Like, they can't break that board. They can't play through punishment and Schism and Makaba, let alone the triple interruptions you get off Feast. So if you open Meltdown, Nadir Servant, plus Void Vanishment, it's just like an FTK. So like, going first, it doesn't really matter. Like, this deck's crazy. Like, I high-key feel like people are probably gonna try and play my list at that low post, because it seemed like they were just like, bruh, like it was crazy. It really was crazy. We have 3 copies of Vanishment. This card is nuts, going first or going second. It searches out your board breaker and your board maker. It's just such a versatile card. The Infernoids are infamous for their spells being very powerful, but the monsters being very bricky. So I figured out a good ratio to get me the most out of the cards without, you know, getting the big drawback of playing so many bricks. So you guys are going to see when we get deeper. But I also play 3 Imagination. This was the pure inspiration behind my list, was mainly Imagination, because it's such a bonkers combo when you can send Elder, Op Cologne, and also Titaniclad, and you just do your whole combo in the in-phase Titaniclad, Fleur-de-Lis off of the Ecclesia. It's just, you get so much interrupt, so much follow-up, and also board breaking potential off just this one card. Like, it's borderline, it could be banned if it was popular, but nobody plays Infernoids, and nobody even knew that combo or saw it coming. Like, it's pretty nuts, like, what you can do. You get 6 Infernoids in grave. You can just turn Tierra into a gravity controller, summon out a Saitamis, and then go ahead and pump out a Deviati or a Nunku. That's already 2 interruptions by itself, and that's excluding the Shadal resources and the Dogmatica engine you get access to off of this. And your fusion, you just go Construct, you know, and just literally just dump Schism, and then you can summon your Nunku, blow up your own Construct to get the Schism back if you don't want to waste resources link climbing more. It's just really, really, really OP. Void Imagination is insane in this deck. I also played 3 Shadal Fusion. These are all starter cards. So, like, you can see, like, with the concept of my decks, like, I only need 1 card to go off. And if I draw any one of these, I'm in a really good position. I don't play really any hand traps. Instead, I play the cards that break the board instead of preventing it from happening. Because I have so much graveyard manipulation, so like 3 Alistair, because this deck has so much graveyard manipulation with the Infernoids being able to DD Crow consistently, and me already being able to set up Winda and multiple interruptions that negate and banish, I felt that it's much better to let my opponent make their board. I break their board, and in the process of me breaking their board, I actually dismantle their follow-ups in their graveyard by banishing them before they get a chance to use them next turn. So like against Eldritch, heck, against Tri-Brigade, there's just so many different decks where like you can literally break the board and take the follow-up and still put up 4 to 5 interruptions all in the same process. So this deck is really, really, really strong. Like, especially against Drytrons and Salman Greats, like, those are the kind of decks where like you don't want to hand trap them. You just literally drop powerful like 1 for 5 cards like Dark Ruler and, you know, droplets, things like that. And then you attack their grave with your Infernoids after you're done breaking their board. So like Drytrons, you could Dark Ruler the Herald, break the board, and literally just banish the Drytrons that matter. And you still have negates, and you still have Winda. They cannot, like, you'll clap everything. Like, it's just insane. It really is. For more starters, we have 3 copies of Ecclesia. Ecclesia is very nasty, you guys. Like, you basically, if you're not normal summoning Decatron, which I do not like doing unless I can't summon anything else, you're either summoning Ecclesia or Alistair. Either one of these put pressure into any established field going second. This can force out a Dragoon, whether you like it or not. You're either going to negate this or you're going to negate the Fleur-de-Lis. So, like, Ecclesia by herself already dismantles disruptions for you. So that you have cards that force the negates out, whether they like it or not, and that's when you just hold your cards like Shadal Fusion, Vanishment. You hold, you know, like your big power plays for the last thing that you activate, or like you just bait the negates and slap a Mystic Mine, and just Mystic Mine and just play the Mystic Mine game for however long you need to build your resources. Something else that's really cool that I didn't get to do it against Drytrons because I didn't play them today, but another cool interaction is when you Dark Ruler or Droplets or Kaiju, because I play Kaijus too. When you Kaiju the Herald, you can actually use the Lair. Like, the best example is like when you Dark Ruler the Herald, and then you use Lair to tribute the Herald for cost, and you target one of their Drytrons and just banish it, which is a super duper cool interaction. And now because Lair is activated already, anytime they summon Herald back from the grave, Herald cannot stop you from utilizing your cards to tribute itself for cost to banish something else. Herald can't negate that because you're tributing him for cost. So he absolutely cannot respond. You can Orange Light, but I still take one of your cards for cost and then banish another one. Then you Orange Light. And it's like I've already served my purpose. Like, the card already has served its purpose. It's just so many synergistic properties with this list. This deck just so powerful and so fun. everything just flows and meshes really well. Like how Alistair baits out Ash. Like there's just so like you really like you want to resolve imagination more than anything. So if you ever draw it, like that's not the first card you're gonna start with. You're gonna lead into it, just throwing cards that your opponent has no choice but to negate. It's super duper strong. So like these are the best starters in the deck. There's still more starters, but these are the best ones. Like a lot of these you can draw them even going first. The only ones that you can't really use going first are Shadow Fusion and Imagination. But other than that, the other ones, you could draw them going first and still make a really, really, really powerful board. Like, Infernoids are such a good meta call right now because there's so many graveyard-based decks. So we have 3 Decatron, another really good starter. It just puts pressure and it gives you protection as well. So if you open power spells or anything, Decatron will force a negate, whether they like it or not. Because if they don't negate him, he dumps a copy of Mommy, and then now he can negate their negator. So like the Infernoids, I just played this very, very small engine. It's just like when I used to play in 2019. I played minimum Infernoids. A lot of people gave me hate and said this is not an Infernoid deck. Dude, what I'm doing is I'm taking the best out of the deck and throwing out all of the bricks and all of the inconsistency. Like that's what keeps Infernoids from being great, because they've got every spot removal in the game. They've got board wipes, spot removals. They got negations and graveyard disruption. They got DD Crow, negate and banish for monster and spell or traps or effects of them, which means if they're in the grave or on the field already activated, you can still negate them. You've got a banish, you've got a pop, you've got a MST, you've got a bounce. I mean, dude, like they've just got everything. Like they even can screw with your extra deck with Jet and also with Infernoid Tiara. So like it's just a really good, well-rounded archetype. It has such a great toolbox, but its own monsters are its biggest downfall. So I'm only playing basically 6 actual bricks, and I play 60 card decks. You can imagine, like I drew a Nunku once today. I drew Deviati once today, and then I drew Jet. I think those are the only 2 times I even drew a Noid that wasn't Decatron. So yeah, those are the Infernoids, as you can see, very, very, very compact. It's all you need. You're just mainly using these for Imagination targets and Void Feast targets. You're not actually gonna start banishing Infernoids from hand and summon Harmadic and Patrulia and try to pop a card. Like, I don't do systematic 1-for-1s. I do like blowouts only with this deck. That's the best way to play it, especially with me blind going second. People would think that's suicide against the decks that people were running today. I main Kaijus. Since I choose to go second, I don't want Adignisters to summon the towers that I can't out. And this is just another out for Herald. It just outs whatever I need to out. And I normally just leave something like Appaloosa because it's literally a free Void Imagination fodder. It's super duper nice. So yeah, the Kaijus just absolutely have to play them. If I had 3 Gamma Seals, I played 3. Today, I ended up borrowing... I borrowed 1 Triple Tactics Talents from my homie Garen, and then 2 of his Gamma Seals because I actually only brought this one. So I am missing those cards, just 1 Gamma Seal and a Talents. Other than that, like I have everything else that I played today. So the list should be... It should be 59 if I'm not mistaken. I might have thrown in a filler, but it should be 59 because I played 3 Talents today. Even though I didn't need to resolve Talents, it's just another really, really good blowout for this deck. So you have the Kaijus, and then the only hand trap that matters in this deck is Gamma. This protects everything. It protects Vanishment, Imagination. Like, this is the thing, like, people... Well, alright, so, for 1, it counters Lancia. 2, people will Ash your Imagination even with Meltdown up. So, if you have Meltdown with Imagination and Gamma, there's nothing they can do. It's gonna happen. Because... the Meltdown protects it, obviously, you know, from negating. And if your opponent has the Ash just negates it. And then there's something else. Oh, yeah. Vanishment, it leaves you super vulnerable. There's a discard for cost. You control no monsters. Gamma. Nadir Servant. Gamma. Droll after you activate Meltdown. Gamma. Shadow Fusion. Gamma. Like, you have all these power spells where you control no monsters and Gamma forces them resolve. This is the only hand trap that matters. Gamma is insane. Like, you can Dark Ruler no more your opponent, and Void Imagination, if they have an Ash, it can still set you back. So you want to actually just hold that Gamma for that. Don't get me wrong, I'll go down to Void Imagination. So I'll read it to you guys so you guys can understand just how powerful this card is. 4 monsters you control whose levels are 2 or higher become level 1. All battle damage they inflict to your opponents halved. you can send this card to the graveyard. Cost: fusion summon 1 Infernoid fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck and you do not, you can also use up to 6 monsters from your deck as materials. Now, the key thing that you want to look for in that is there's nothing once per turn in this card at all. So if you actually draw multiples, or another way to search it, you can play through the Ash just by activating another one. So you have like your Gammas, you have your Dark Rulers, you have your Droplets, you have Triple Tactics Talents that can draw another one. You have Meltdown. You have so many ways to A, protect this, and B, it's not once per turn. So you have 6 copies of this. It's just insane. Like, the card is literally one of the most broken cards ever printed in the entire game. But Gamma is the only hand trap that I play, it's the only one that matters. Other than that, you're just going to play Dark Rulers, Droplets, you're going to play Kaijus, and remember, it's supposed to be 3 talents and talents. This has been my philosophy for a long time. A lot of people don't agree with this, but I'm not the average Yu-Gi-Oh player. I do not do what other people do. I do what I like to do, and I have fun with it and still win. I have always been big on break the board instead of trying to prevent it from happening. So I could play Veilers and Imperms and Ash Blossoms and all those cute little 1-for-1 hand traps and hope to God that a competent player with a powerful deck won't play through them. But the reality is, a lot of decks that you need to hand trap, meaning that they're going to make a board that doesn't let you play, you need multiple hand traps and they have to be high impact. So instead of that, I can just play 1 Dark Ruler. Everything about the Drytron board has been simplified down to Orange Light. That's it. That's all I have to play through. If I can't play through Orange Light, like, you guys are tripping balls. Like, it's so easy to play through Orange Light in this deck. You literally force Orange Light. You can't even, like, they don't have a choice. You force Orange Light out. Like, they can't, because you activate cards that they have to negate. And so, like, you have Dark Ruler Droplets, like, just to literally follow up with a card like Fusion, Nadir, Imagination, Vanishment. There's just so many cards that literally just say no. Drytron sites, no, they don't mean any back row removal. So Drytrons and Tri-Brigades, like, you activate Mystic Mind, they just scoop. Like, if they don't scoop and they really think that they're going to call my bluff, I am playing 60 cards. I will not deck out. You will get decked out, thinking that you're going to mind game me. Like, if you have the out, you better use it. Like, seriously. So I play the Mind. I also play just 1 Layer of Darkness. I've tested with 3, and honestly, the conclusion I came to was like, this is nice to have, but it's not a need to have. It's a great card, and it gives you another option for disruptions and breaking boards, but this is not an Infernoid-eccentric list. I don't play a lot of Infernoids. I don't really need this card as much as pure Infernoids do. This is just an icing on the cake. I'd rather have Mystic Mind than Lair, because this wins games by itself, whereas this just allows me to dismantle stuff like Appaloosa, the Ancient Warriors Link. You know, when you're playing against Dragon Link, they have no choice but to negate this. Otherwise, you'll tribute their Fusion, their Synchro, their Link, whatever they have for cost to just get the disruptions out the way. So it's just another must-negate card, and pair this with Gamma, and you've got nuts. Like, the ceiling on this deck for going second is just incredibly high. So these are like the going second cards, quote, quote, along with the Kaijus. But the thing is, if you saw my starters, all my starters can be used going second. So you're not really playing 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17. It was 18 because of 3 talents. You're not just playing 18 going second cards. Your 22 starters are all going second cards. So you play 40 going second cards. Half of them can be used going first, which is nuts. And now I'm going to get down to the less desirable cards to draw. So besides the 6 Infernoids that you play, I also do not want to draw the 2 Shaddolls. So you're playing basically 8 bricks, but at the same time, the ceiling that this deck has, the reward is a lot higher than the risk. That's why I like it. A lot of people wouldn't play my list because they're scared of bricking. That's why this list works for me. I'm a 60 card player, and I love playing stuff like this, and I don't mind throwing in a couple bricks if it means that I can clap more decks than I was ever able to do without playing the bricks. I will do it. So I play Dragon and Genius. For a Shadow Fusion, I either summon Construct or I summon Ob Cologne. If I summon Ob Cologne, I'm getting both of these. I'm going to dismantle 2 threats with these, and then a 3rd threat with Ob Cologne, then follow up with the Schism for my troubles. It's a really, really good package. It just makes breaking boards so easy, especially when you Dark Ruler and follow up with that. It's crazy. For the rest of the Dogmaticas, these aren't technically starters. This is if you have something engraved. That's why I put them on the lower end. So you have the 1 Flare, the 1 Maximus. A lot of people are A, not playing Dogmatica, and B, just don't have targets. Most people are playing literally just Tri-Brigades. And for Drytrons, I really don't care if they dump 2 Elders. or dump 2 arc lights. Like, it doesn't really matter. There's nothing they can do about Winda. There's just nothing. Like, they literally auto lose to Winda, but you always end on more than just Winda. So like the card is just super free. You just plus so much. If they have targets, you can side it out. It's literally a 1-of. And I just play 1 invocation for the invoke package. I didn't want to play more because I didn't want to brick on them, so that's why I just play the 1. And then I'm also playing 3 feast, 2 punishment, and 1 schism. I know it sounds crazy to play so many traps in a going second list, but a lot of people at locals and people that I know always try to make me go first, because this is how I see it. Like, when they make me go first, it's because they are scared that I will actually destroy them going second. So like, they feel like they are lowering my ceiling by making me go first, which arguably they are. But the thing is, like, I built my deck to be able to do both. Like, I'm not playing all board wipes and just dark holes and evenly match. I'm playing cards like the invoke cards, the dogmatica cards, the void vanishment and stuff that can literally do either or. Like, I can search disruptions or just use them to break a board. So that's why I also like playing 3 void feasts. When I go first or when I'm forced to go first, I still have a good game plan, because I'm telling you, like, when people saw what I did to them, they were making me go first and they still regretted it. I like 2 punishment, not 1. Actually, this does come up, and I don't really get the chance to use Omega to put it back and search another one, but you guys could arguably cut these 3 and get yourself, like, I don't know, 3 Pot of Prosperity or whatever. Just make it your own list, you know, like, you don't have to play card for card, but just pointing out some stuff that you could change. And then Schism, I just love it so much. It's such a powerful card. It's one of the best follow-ups, and you guys will see I play more than just the standard shit all package, so this card gets a lot of value and longevity the way I use it. So yeah, this deck is just honestly very, very powerful. It's such a great list. You have so much protection, so many ways to force something to happen, like where your opponent can't do anything about it. Like, you summon Decatron, they were holding their negate for, you know, like your shit all fusion. Now they have to negate Decatron, you know, like, there's so many cards like that. You summon Alistair. Like, Alistair is another good way to check for Ash. So what I'll do, if I have Imagination or Fusion or something broken in my hand, I'll check for Ash. I'll summon Alistair, see what happens. If they Ash it, because Alistair, they have to negate it. If they don't, you make Makaba for your trouble. So, like, when you summon Alistair and they don't Ash, you know that you're safe for your play. So this is just like another call by the Grave, if it makes sense. This is just like, check for Ash, check for Infirm, check for Valor, check for any hand trap, Gamma, whatever they have, disruptions. Just, it forces them out. It's such a good card. Decatron, all those stars, just good stuff. Ecclesia, just so amazing. So, extra deck, 1 tier, you only resolve it once. If you actually need to summon it again, Omega. I play 2 Op Cologne, not 1. I also play Winda. I was thinking about playing 2, honestly, but what I do is I use the Op Cologne to put this back to my extra deck, and then I summon the second one when I need it. So you actually, by playing 2 Op Colognes, you get a lot more flexibility, because this could be your other Winda, your other Construct, and also just actually summoning it off Schism is a great follow-up. It's so good. And then we have Construct, so we're playing the 4 Shaddolls, the 1 Infernoid, and then for Invokes, this is a fusion-heavy deck. I play 2 Makabas. Could be a Makaba and a Purgatrio. I was thinking about it today, but I do like the Makabas. And then Aguadis, and then for more Dogmatica stuff, I play 2 Elder, 1 Titanic-clad. You really just, it comes up like once. The big combo that I was talking about, you just Tierra, and you're going to use Tierra to dump these 3 right here. 1, 2, and 3. Get a pop, get a huge plus. So like, Void Imagination can plus you 1, 2... Man, I can't even do the math right now. I think Void Imagination is like a +5. Would know the 6 Infernoids engraved. Void Imagination, honestly, I'm just gonna call it a +7. Like, it's just so insane. Like, in this deck, like, that card single-handedly just destroys people. We have Gravity Controller. This is super important. You need it for the combo. Also, you're playing Shaddolls. You want to actually clear them. And then Moon Maiden, because of the Invoke cards. We have Verde Anaconda and Omega. And just so you guys know, so like, this deck does have cards that can be susceptible to Lancia. So what you do, like, depending on how you opened, if you opened into your Dogmatica, your Shaddol, and also your what's it at? Your Infernoi portion of the deck. So like, they like, that happened today against PK Fire when I was breaking his board. I still cleared his board, but I didn't get to in game 2. I didn't get to summon out. Yeah, that's right. I didn't get to summon out Manunku. I was gonna summon it to break his board, so I ended up using the Construct to attack his his Rusty, and I used the Tiara to attack his Dragoon because he actually couldn't use it on the card that he should have used it on because of Meltdown. And then I just left his F-Zero and I dismantled that on my own. But he Lancey'd me, so my Invoke portion of my deck was cut off and my Infernoids are cut off, and I used the Dogmaticas and the Shaddolls to actually do the rest of the work. So like when you get Lancey'd, the Dogmaticas and the Shaddolls plus Void Vanishment will still give you really big carries. So like let's say you're going first, right, and you don't have Gamma, but you open up into your Invoke part of your deck and they Lancea you. You could still summon Ecclesia, you could still search, you could still resolve Nadir Servant, you can also still activate Vanishment and just get yourself a copy of Void Feast. So there's quite a few ways that you can play around all those different things, even Droll and Lockbird, the Shaddolls, and the Infernoids, and also the, not the Invoke. So yeah, the Shaddolls and the Infernoids help you to play around Droll a lot better, because normally when you get Drolled, it's after you did one Invoke search or one Dogmatica search, then you will normally have that engine, and the other two engines that you would play normally do not need to search for them to be live. So there's just so many ways that you can actually mitigate or circumvent the hand traps that in theory would hurt the deck. I just think this list is crazy. And now I'm gonna go ahead and open my packs, and that's gonna be it. So just gonna open them real quick, checking time here. Okay, so I pulled a Diviner today. I'm just gonna speak life into it. Oh, the Trap Tricks Ultra. I'm gonna try and make this as fast as possible, so that just hoping that the video doesn't cut off in the middle. Oh, I pulled 2 Ultras. So now for sure, we got the Diviners. Where are you at? Okay, so that's a super. Just grabbing these real quick, speeding it up. Side deck is Patreon exclusive if you guys are interested. It is going to get posted in my tier 1 channel. Let's see here. I'm looking for my Diviner. I just really am being optimistic about it. It's the last pack. It's the last pack. You know what I mean? It's that. Oh, it's not Diviner, but it is a secret rare. Dang, I was so close. I pulled 2 Ultras and 1 secret out of 6 packs. That is pretty nasty. I jacked that box up. I left them with the other secret, and that's it. So yeah, you guys, God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. I do have some other crazy lists coming for you. My Spriggans, and also my Ancient Warrior Eldritch, and just other fun decks that are non-conventional that I'm pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy. With that said, I'm going to end the video. Peace.